Welcome back to the show. As Lois mentioned, we are back with a guest who is a real inspiration to others, and she's a real advocate for the eradication of poverty. A lot of people feel the same way, and she's part of a group called Results Canada. We'll tell you more about that, and she's the founder of an e-group with Results Canada. Her name is Sadia Jama. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thanks. Hi, Sadia.
Give us an overview of what Results Canada is, first of all.
Sure. Results is a network of volunteers across the country from all walks of life who advocates for the eradication of poverty. So they write letters to the editor, meet with members of parliament, different bureaucrats within the Canadian International Development Agency, or once a year at the World Bank and IMF.
And Sadia, why did you personally want to get involved with this organization?
I've always been pretty involved with poverty efforts, efforts that eradicate poverty. However, I felt that I needed to get involved with a group that looked at the root causes of poverty. So Results does that by meeting with policymakers that create policies that translate to life saved. And so, yeah, I joined them.
Well, what's it like to meet not only MPs, but members of these international organizations? Like you said, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank. What happens at those meetings?
It may seem a little daunting, and it was at my first meeting, but the Results is really good at preparing you with the information so that you have up-to-date current information, as well as cost-effective interventions that can be done to eradicate poverty. So once you meet with them, they're just like you too. They're really nice and really welcoming, and you share your story as well as why you're there and how Canadian foreign policy should be directed towards areas that are going to save more lives faster. And they're usually very accepting of any ideas, and they get back to us and have implemented some things that we've advocated for.
Can you give an example of one or two?
Sure. So I don't know if your viewers know, but the Muskoka Initiative was an initiative where our Prime Minister and the Minister of International Cooperation came and reoriented the priorities of the Canadian International Development Agency to several areas, one of them being child survival. And that was an area that Results and a lot of similar organizations were advocating for.
Right, okay. And also you, like Derek mentioned, have opened up this e-chapter of Results. Can you explain that a bit more and what its focus is?
Sure. Once a month, Results volunteers meet in their local cities to learn about the issue and learn about what can be done on an issue. So, for example, an issue can be on sanitation or access to clean water across the world. And what Canada's position is on that issue, as well as what can be done to improve that position. And so we learn about the issue, we discuss it in a critical way, and then we learn what strategic actions can be done on that issue. So I actually went to Saskatchewan. I wasn't in Ottawa, so there wasn't a local group there, and I felt kind of out of touch. So I spoke with our public engagement coordinator, and I said, well, let's create an online group. So that's how it all started, and the e-group models that local group, but in an online platform.
What a great idea. And it's amazing, technology can be used for good and bad. It's nice to see that obviously you're using it for good. Another thing that you're very passionate about is dismantling the stereotypes when it comes to Islam. Why did you decide that that was something that you were going to move forward with and that you were so passionate about?
Well, in a post-9/11 world, a lot of people misunderstand Islam and Muslims in general. So in my day-to-day life, I see a lot of the stereotypes.
Right.
And so I think every Muslim should then become an ambassador for the religion, in a sense, whether we like it or not. So I created a blog, and I write a few letters to the editor on some of the controversial issues that are occurring, as well as some stereotypes that day-to-day people have about Islam but aren't true.
Right, so getting that education out there, making people more aware. And you're doing it in so many different ways. You're also a teacher, and you are finishing your epidemiology master's degree and doing Results, and being part of this. You're a very busy lady. So what does it mean for you then to be named a global changemaker?
It's a little, I didn't feel like what I was doing was worthy of it. But when you meet other global change makers and you see such inspiring people doing such great things across the country, you feel like, well, this is my little corner. But nonetheless, I was really inspired, and they told us that it was a way for them to tell Canadians across the country what other Canadians are doing in their own cities.
Well, I couldn't agree more, and well deserved on winning as a global change maker. And you're an inspiration to other people out there. Thanks so much for joining us today.
And so humble too. Thank you so much, Sadia.
Thank you.
Thanks. You want to find out more information? We brought up the website on the screen there, and you can get yourself a little more aware, and also visit the blog. I was on it earlier today, and there's a lot of interesting information when it comes to Islam, and as she said, dismantling some of those stereotypes. Don't go away. More Daytime coming up right after this.